Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow. This is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So glad that you can join me. So for our practice today, we're going to be doing some work on side bends. I'm always thinking about, just some of the conditions that we find ourselves in, like sitting. We sit a lot, at least I sit a lot. And just kind of think about what happens. There's a lot of compression in the spine that's happening when we're sitting so much, but also even just kind of think not only through your spine or even the front body, but just think what's happening on through the sides of the body, that they're also kind of collapsing. And so I thought, let's just get into some slow side bends. And so I have a variety of postures that I typically do, but we'll feature them today in our practice. So let's start with what we'll need for our props. I do suggest a couple of blocks or books. We're going to be doing one of our first poses that we do. It'll be kind of leaning to the side, and it's just nice to have a little prop. So a couple of books or blocks will be perfect for that. And then maybe something soft to sit on and kneel on. That could be a nice blanket or a folded up towel, something that you like. And I might even throw in a kind of a feature or a bonus pose at the end if we've got some time. So you might want to have a big cushion or pillow for that, okay? So I've got my yoga bolster here on the side, and we'll do that. We've got a little bit more time at the end of the class. So let's begin our practice as always, just sitting comfortably. Feel free to sit on your cushion or soft blanket that you brought in. You might start with a few deep breaths. Just breathe in deeply through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. Even kind of shake out the shoulders. I think it's nice when you exhale with a sigh. You really kind of feel the body relax, and just kind of check in with that. Maybe one more time, a nice full breath in and exhale with a sigh. And just settle in. I'm just going to continue with that slow, steady breath, getting in tuned, and really preparing for our practice. We use the breath as a way to really feel present, connected, allowing what's going on the outside to remain on the outside for the time being, so we can focus a bit on what's happening on the inside. You can do this with your eyes open. You might just be gazing forward or even down at the ground. Or if you want to take that internal connection, go ahead and close your eyes. Just slow, steady breaths here. And you can continue to move if that feels good, or just sit in stillness. Some things to be aware of as you're sitting and breathing in this mindfulness meditation. First, maybe just listen to the sound of your breath. That could be quite meditative. And experience how your body is responding to your breath. As you inhale, for example, you might feel your breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. And a slow and controlled exhale, the release of the breath, and as you're doing so, drawing your navel inward towards your spine. Just a nice connection here. It's a light contraction of your abdominal muscles. You don't have to make that too strong at this moment, but just an awareness. Again, an inhale, feel the breath rising, filling up your lungs. Nice heart opener here as well. And your exhale, drawing belly in at light contraction. And we call that the abdominal lock. Feeling your breath. And if you need to, turn up the volume of your breath so you can listen to the sound. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths like this, and then we'll add a very simple movement. And when you're ready, an inhale to extend your arms out, then all the way up. A nice reach and stretch towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, extend your arms out and let them return down to your side. Just a very simple motion. Let's do that again. Inhale, extend your arms out with some energy and effort, reaching across the room and eventually up towards the ceiling. And exhale, let's extend the arms out, good energy through your hands and fingers, and let them float back down by your side. Now go ahead and continue on your own, moving at your own pace. So you don't need to necessarily follow my movement and breath pace, but listen and feel yours. As you're moving, perhaps you are moving in slow motion, pay attention to what this feels like. The energy in your arms as you reach out and up, the movement in your shoulders. And since we're focusing on side bends, pay attention to the sides of your body. You know, a very common movement in yoga is extending our arms up into the air. A lot of our postures will feature that. And it really helps us not only to lengthen our spine and torso, but to feel that lengthening through the sides of the body. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on, and go ahead and take 2 more breaths. Go at your own pace. And when you're complete, your arms can just rest down by your side. Maybe even rest your hands in your lap. Check in with your shoulders. You might just give them a gentle circle forward and backward. And then let them release. All right, here comes our first side bend. This is where your books or blocks could come in handy. I'm going to bring in, now my blocks, they're not very thick, okay? So I've got 2 here. You can probably just use 1 block or a couple of books. And just place them on your right side here. Now either your hand can go on the block or your forearm can go on the block. My forearm will probably go on the block here eventually. So first, just sit up nice and tall, re-extend the spine. We'll take the left arm out to the side. We're going to inhale and take it up to 12 o'clock. That's an inhale. Hold here on the exhale. Okay, inhale again, reaching up a bit higher towards the ceiling, then exhale, start to reach over your body. This is where the blocks can come in handy. Now your hand can go here, or your elbow or forearm can go here. So we can get this kind of this stretch sensation down through the left side of the body. So reaching with a little bit of energy. It's okay if you got this kind of this bow feeling, this roundedness in the arm. Don't worry about if the arm is straight. Just kind of reach over. Now as you're reaching with this left arm, if you can, just continue to feel the left hip continue to press down into the earth. We want to experience this lengthening quality or even a feeling of moving in 2 directions. A lot of our postures will feature that, and I'll point that out when we get to them. All right, now we're going to inhale. I'm kind of pushing into the blocks to sit back up. Reach up towards the ceiling, straight arm, straight up. Exhale, let's bring the arm back down. Now the arm might feel a little fatigued, so you might just want to give it a little circle, a little shake, just like that, just to kind of loosen things up. All righty, our first side bend. Let's do the other side. Okay, you might just move your blocks over there, then extend your right arm out to the side. Then an inhale, take it right up to the ceiling. Right there, hold on the exhale. Inhale, reach a little higher. You're getting that length already. Exhale, start to bend. Use your hand or forearm on the blocks over here so you have some support as you reach. Now you really don't have to go too far, just until you feel this kind of lengthening sensation. You might feel this down through the back of the arm, just past the shoulder, down through the side, past the ribs, right down to the waistline here. As you're reaching through this right side, see if you can still press the right hip down into the floor or blanket, whatever you're sitting on. And then just take a breath or 2, an expansive breath, as if you're trying to let me push the ribs out to the side. Okay, then we'll inhale and pushing into the blocks to help sit up, re-extend this arm up into the air, and then the exhale, let's bring the arm back down. And let's give it a bit of a rest. A little circle here with the shoulder. You can even shake out the arm. Alrighty? You can stay as you are. I'm going to turn sideways for this next part. Keep your blocks nearby. And then here we'll take our mild back bend. So just place the hands behind you. You might just prop up onto your fingertips. Here you want to roll the shoulders back or draw the shoulders back. So you have this heart opening feeling. Tip your chin up just a little bit. It's a very mild back bend, but it is a heart opener. Now, as you breathe in, push into the floor with the fingers. Feel that energy kind of shoot up the arms. Breath is still rising to fill up your lungs. Then exhale, let's draw belly in, and as you're able, squeeze shoulder blades together behind you. What you're creating there is 2 support points. one in the low torso, in this case low belly, and then the upper back torso, upper back region. Okay, so you have those two places of support in this back bend. Let's go ahead and inhale once again. Energy in the arms, breath rising, fill up your lungs, open up your heart space. Exhale, belly in, and a little squeeze of the shoulder blades. 2 more breaths like this. Very active, very energetic. And what's also nice about sensations like that is we get to complete them. So go ahead and lower your chin, walk your hands towards yourself, let your arms relax by your side. Again, your hands in your lap, so that contrast of that activation of the body now return to a relaxed body. So that was our back bend. Let's get ready for our forward fold. If your legs happen to be crossed like mine are, go ahead and uncross your legs and then place the soles of your feet together. We're creating cobbler's pose or bound angle right there. This is where your books or blocks can come in handy again if you have them nearby. Go ahead and tuck them underneath the legs so your legs are resting on those objects. And go ahead and hold on to your ankles or shins. We're going to inhale, get as tall as you can, nice straight spine. Exhale, draw belly in, really for support as you draw or hinge forward just a little bit, not too much. We'll do that again. And inhale to continue that lengthening of the spine. Remember, we're trying to decompress spine. Exhale, draw belly in to support that holding, lifted sensation, but also support the body in motion as you hinge forward a tiny bit. Let's do a couple breaths here. Again, we're not needing to go too far with this. You could if you wanted to. Remember, we're not trying to push or force the body. If you want, you could lower your chin, you can round your back, and that doesn't compromise the pose if you want to go a little bit deeper, okay? It just creates a different sensation through the back body. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths right here. If your back happens to be rounded, you might lift the chin a little bit to help re-extend the spine. Hands on the floor in front of you to help press and lift yourself up, just a personal assist as you rise back up, seated, tall with a lengthened upper body. Let's go ahead and move our blocks to the side. You're going to maneuver your body in a safe way to your hands and knees. I like to unfold my blanket out to a nice long rectangle, so I have space for my knees and hands, so you're here in this tabletop position. All right, our cat and cow flow, a nice undulation of the spine. We'll inhale first to lift the chin, look forward, little arch of the back. Your pelvis tips back, so you create this back bend like so. Exhale, let's tuck the pelvis under, like so. Belly button pulling up towards spine, the back rounds, and your chin kind of tucks in towards your chest like this. Inhale, reverse it. Pelvis tips back, belly drops, heart opens as you arch the back. Exhale, round it all out. Now go ahead and continue at your own pace. Feeling this movement of the whole upper body, functional with this undulating spine and the rocking of the pelvis. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Take your time, and when you're complete, just finish in a tabletop position, just holding here for a breath or 2, and then we'll get set up for our next pose. If you're kneeling on a pad here, let's crawl off the pad and set it to the side. Come back out to hands and knees, and let's set this up for downward facing dog. You're going to step your hands forward so your hands are out from underneath the shoulders. I would suggest spreading out your fingers pretty wide. Creates a nice strong base. It also stretches the fingers. Lean into the hands or press the palms into the mat so they go flat. It also opens and stretches the palms. Your arms should feel strong and energized. Go ahead and tuck your toes. Let's do one more cat and cow. It starts with cow. That's the inhale where you arch your back in the back bend. Exhale, round it all out. Hold that cat sensation. Lift your knees off the floor and send your hips into the air, and that extends the spine. You might need to adjust your feet, maybe even your hands on your mat. Let's just take a moment.
paying attention to this inverted posture that we do all the time, that this also contributes to the sides of the body lengthening, which is what we want. Hands pressed firmly into the floor. With bent knees, you can send your hips up into the air. You'll feel longer. Go ahead and look straight down at the mat. You're going to walk or step your feet forward until maybe you're standing in the center of your mat. Your feet are flat on the ground. And go ahead and slide your fingers towards your toes if you need to. You'll be in forward fold. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees to extend your spine, only rising up halfway. Let's hold here, just like this. So we'll continue that lengthening process. All right. Now this could be considered a side bend or just lengthening through the torso, really. Feeling as if your tailbone is reaching or moving towards the wall that's behind you, while the very top of your head, which I usually call your crown, is pointing and moving you forward. Go ahead and shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees. Let your hips drop like you're sitting down into a low chair. Start to lift your heart. Extend your arms out to the side, and this helps the process of now standing nice and tall. Reach up into the air, extended mountain pose. Exhale to bring your arms back down by your side. Hold that for a moment. Even shake out the shoulders. You can do that anytime. Now, I'm going to do the arms extension one more time. Just that reminder that when we take our arms up into the air, with most poses that do take our arms up, it's a lengthening through the sides of the body. So make that intentional. Here we go. Let's inhale, take the arms out and up. Reach up, even an extra reach towards the ceiling there. And then exhale, go ahead and bring your arms back down by your side. Okay, one more time, same thing, just an intentional movement of lengthening through the sides of the body. We'll get to side bending in a moment. Exhale, arms return to your side. Okay, let's do a half salute, which is our forward fold, and come right back up, just to keep the body moving and warming up. Standing in mountain pose. Here we go, that same arm extension out and up into the air, extended mountain pose. Exhale, spread your wings, but this time bend your knees. You feel like you're sitting back into an imaginary chair as you slowly fold. Make your way down, maybe touching your toes or the ground, or maybe just your shins. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees, extending your spine. Again, we're going to hold here at half forward fold, right there. Breathe. Maybe 2 breaths. Feel that extension. Also notice what else is happening in the body, because your body has to feel supported here. I feel this in my glutes. They're engaged. The hamstrings are engaged, even though there's a bend in the knees. Now shifting weight into the heels. Bend your knees, look forward, spread your wings, stand up tall, return to that extended mountain pose. An intentional lengthening through the sides of the body. Exhale, arms return to your side. Very good. Again, shake out those shoulders or give them a little roll. Let's go into our variation of Warrior One. Okay. Once again, standing nice and tall near the top of your mat. We'd like to start with soft knees. We don't lock out the knees. Start shifting your weight into your right foot, that nice connection there. Feel tall up top, lengthening through the spine. You're going to lean forward just a tiny bit. You might even feel your right set of toes kind of grip the mat. This should allow you to pick up the left foot, just tap it back just a little bit. Heel is lifted, toes flexed, pivot or turn the heel, or you're really turning the leg, so it kind of turns out to at a corner or an angle, and you shift and sit into the center body right there. Place your hands on your hips, push down, push the pelvis down, lengthening up through the torso. There's that movement of up and down at the same time. We do that a lot in yoga, of course. That also creates space in the belt line so you can start to turn and face mostly forward. We'll inhale, take the arms up into the sky. Let's exhale, bend your elbows so it doesn't tire out the shoulders too quickly. So the arms are a good 90 degrees, just like that. Just hold for a moment. Now we are in a lunge. It's just very mild compared to the second version that we'll do a little bit later. Just take a couple breaths. All right, we're going to inhale and shoot the arms straight up. Intentional reaching, lengthening through the sides of the body. Exhale, bring your arms down. Place your hands on your hips. Lean forward, put pressure into that front foot so you can step forward with the left. Feet together. Another in-breath. Take both arms up into the sky. Exhale, arms return to your side. Okay? So that's our first lunge motion. Let's do the other side. Softness in the knees, shifting weight into left foot, root down. Feel tall through the torso. Lean forward, let the left set of toes grip the mat.
Tap the right foot back, not too far, just until that just kind of naturally stops. It won't go very far. Heel is lifted, toes flexed. Pivot or turn that whole leg so you can plant the heel into the floor, whole body shifts to center. Place hands on hips, push down. There's an effort of pushing down, okay? And then feel the torso lift and lengthen, and then turn to face mostly forward. Inhale, extend arms up into the sky. Exhale, bend elbows 90 degrees. Hold. Some deep breaths here, since we're just holding, standing in stillness, gives us that opportunity to return to our relationship with breath. Go ahead and inhale and shoot the arms straight up once again. Exhale, arms back down, hands on hips. Lean forward, so we're putting weight into the left foot. Step forward with the right. Let's go ahead and take an inhale to bring both arms up into the sky. Exhale, arms return to your side. All right, little shoulder roll here. Very good. All right, let's get into our sun salutation that we break down. I'm going to adjust my mat while I'm thinking about it. Right there. All right, here we go. Go ahead and inhale, extend your arms into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary seat. Folding forward, feel the natural curvature of the spine, relax the head and neck, maybe touching your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees. Feel that spinal extension. The exhale, we're folding again, going back down. Bend the knees more, get low enough so you can place your hands on the mat. Start to walk both feet back to the back end of your mat, and then straighten the line in the body right here, plank pose. Let's breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips up into the air. Downward facing dog, adjust the feet. Okay, keep the knees very bent, lift the hips up a little higher, press firmly into the ground with the hands. Feel a little longer through the sides of the body. Here, inhale, extend right leg up into the air, reach. As you exhale, bend the right knee a whole lot. Bring that right knee in underneath you toward your chest. As you do so, shift your whole upper body so your shoulders will be stacked or aligned over your wrists. Go ahead and set your right foot down, just your toes. You'll set your left knee down so we can take some of the weight off the hands, so we can actually use the right hand, go get the right foot, pick it up and place it up a little higher on the mat. So we're going for that second version of Warrior One. Relift your left knee, so we're in this lunge. Pivot or turn the whole leg so your heel is on the floor. There's our greater distance between the feet. Be sure there's more weight in that back foot as well. Extend your torso long out over the thigh. Then you can inhale, hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. Nice lift. Reach high, lunge low. We're going to add one little piece, and that's, I'm going to turn to face you for a second, because you're going to fold your fingers with your index fingers pointing towards the ceiling. So if you're able to do that in Warrior One, go ahead and take that posture. Alrighty? This is another version of Warrior One. And to take it even deeper or further, you can look up. Okay? Tip your head up and look past your fingertips. This is one version, another version of Warrior One. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, release the fingers. Turn your torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. You'll be in Warrior Two. If you need to adjust your feet, you're welcome to do so. I usually adjust that back foot a little bit, just so the knee and ankle don't feel compromised. I feel a bit more comfortable here. All right, we're going to get into our next side bend. So you're going to reach forward like so with the upper body. Reach through the right arm over the right thigh. Let's bend the right arm at 90 degrees. Now if you can, bring this arm to the thigh or even just your hand. I'm going to just do my hand at first. It could also be your arm. Well, the left hand goes up, reaches towards the ceiling. There's our 12 o'clock, but take it over your head like so. Almost like we did when we were seated. So it's okay if the arm kind of bows a little bit. And keep reaching. Okay, my palm is facing the floor. Little bend in the elbow as I reach to get that extension through the left side of the body. At the same time, press your left foot more firmly into the floor. And you've got to really have this, you really have the support of this right hand or your arm on the thigh while you're reaching. Okay? We want that feeling of moving in opposite directions. Left hand overhead this direction, left foot pressing to the floor down that direction.
Now we're going to come back up to the warrior two, right there. Reach and extend. And then a big windmill. So this left hand will come up and around, face forward, fold and bend. Hands to the mat here. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Press firmly into the floor with the hands. We'll slide right foot back. Plank pose. And we're going to take a little rest here. Bring the knees to the floor. Keep toes tucked and sit back to our half hero. Right there. A little stretch for the toes, but an opportunity to relax your wrists after being on your hands and even having the arms in the air. That's one thing, because we're doing side bends, our arms are going to be up quite a bit. So you want to give them a little moment to relax if you'd like. And then I like to do that little press of the back of the hand onto the mat, maybe just 3 little pulses if you want to do that. And then we'll make our way back into downward facing dog. Hands out front, spread out fingers, firm press into the mat with the palms, strong arms, toes are already tucked. Lift the knees, extend the spine. There's our down dog. Hold. Feel that continued extension. Now the other side, an inhale to extend left leg up into the air. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in towards chest or chin, shifting body forward, shoulders stacked nicely over the wrists. We'll set the left foot down on the toes, heel lifted. We'll set the right knee down, lightness in the hands so we can go get the left foot, pick it up, place it up a little higher on the mat, re-lift the right knee, pivot or turn the whole leg so the heel can touch the floor, put some weight back into that foot. This might allow you to step the hands back a little bit, extending through the torso. Then we'll inhale, hinge from hips, rise up, reach into the air. Exhale, just kind of lunge and hold the posture. There we are. If you can, as we did earlier, interlace your fingers with the index fingers pointing towards the ceiling. Maybe even lengthen through the arms. Reach up, point up, and then maybe even tip your gaze upward if that feels okay on your neck. So another version of Warrior One. Let's breathe in right here. Exhale, release the fingers. Turn your torso towards the right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel, Warrior Two. Adjusting the feet, okay? So your knee joints, okay, on both legs feel good. Our Warrior Two, which takes us to our side angle into our side stretch. Side angle, reaching forward through the left arm, out over the left thigh. Rotate the arms here. Again, I'm just going to place left hand on the thigh. It could be your left forearm. Right hand reaching dynamically up towards the ceiling. And then reaching overhead. Slight bend of elbow is fine. Reach. Palm down, fingertips reaching past the front edge of your mat. Remember to press your right foot more firmly into the ground as well. And then some deep breaths here. Okay, in this little side bend feeling, trying to breathe into the right set of ribs, perhaps. All right, ready to move. Breathing in. Exhale, we'll carefully turn. Actually, no, we're going to come back up to Warrior Two. Sorry about that. Back to our Warrior Two. Now we'll do our little windmill, right hand up and over, facing forward. Fold and bend, hands to the mat. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you to help realign. Press hands firmly into the ground. Little hip lift so the left foot can slide back, returning to plank pose. We want to rest those arms again, so let's go ahead and set the knees down. Sit back to our half hero, like this. Some circles of the shoulders, and even a little rotation in the wrists, or that little palm, or that wrist press here, top of the hand. Let's take a back bend, so let's go ahead and sit off to the side. Swing the legs around to the front. Make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat. Grab a couple of blocks, because we're doing a supported bridge pose. Once you found your center, go ahead and roll down. Bring knees into chest. You can add some movement here. That might feel quite good. And we'll go ahead and set the feet down. Knees bent. Make sure you got your blocks in hand. We're going to inhale, fill up the lungs. Exhale, engage core. And with that engagement, lift your hips, slide your books or blocks underneath you, and then just take a seat. And we'll just hold here. You might adjust the feet on the mat so they feel good. Maybe even adjust the upper body, your shoulders, your upper back. And then just come to a place of stillness just for a few breaths, just to experience the whole front side of the body opening. So this is a back bend. It's a supported back bend. And again, if we have a little time at the end of practice, we're going to do another supported back bend. That's why you want to have a big pillow or a cushion or a yoga bolster if you happen to have one. Just some deep breaths. This is another opportunity for you to reconnect to breath, return to the moment, staying present. Take 3 more breaths. After the 3rd breath, we need to re-energize the body, simply pressing feet into the floor so you can lift your hips, so you can remove your props out from underneath you, slowly return to the ground. Now we're going to do another extension through the body. I'm going to scoot down a little bit because I need some room behind me. Extend the legs out front, reach your arms behind you, reach and stretch in these opposite directions. Now we're going to imagine that we're standing with the arms overhead, okay, because we did this. But this time, interlace your fingers, index fingers pointing to the back of the room, just like this. Now we're going to do a little side bend here. Alrighty, now inhale and just lengthen. When you exhale, just kind of bend the whole upper body, maybe to the left. Maybe you're pointing towards that back left corner, let's say, of your mat. Okay, just a little bend in the body. We're just kind of getting things set up when we do this standing, because we will do this standing. Now come back to center. You kind of have to just scoot yourself on the mat here. Inhale once you are back in center. Exhale, see if you can kind of bend to the right side. And you're going to feel this down through the left side of your body. Couple breaths. Just a lying down side bend. And we'll return to center, re-extending. Release the folded fingers, and we'll hug the knees into chest. So after that lengthening, we kind of roll ourselves back up into a ball. A little massage there. Then start to rock forward and back to rock your way up to seated, or feel free to lie over onto one side and press yourself up to seated. So once we're up here, just going to continue to lean to one side, swing the legs back behind us like this. Return to hands and knees. Okay, cat and cow, just 2 breaths. Inhale, look up, arch the back. Exhale, round. Let's just get that mobility through the spine again. 1 more. Just like that. Pause in this neutral tabletop posture. Let's step the hands forward, spread out your fingers, tuck your toes, do 1 more cat-cow. Inhale, arch the back, look forward, exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, hold cat pose, lift the knees, lift your hips, extend the spine. Inhale. When you exhale, we're just going to walk forward, maybe just to the center of your mat is fine. Slide your hands towards toes, forward fold. Inhale, slide hands up to the shins or knees, extending through spine. Hold this half forward fold. Shifting weight back into the heels, bend your knees, look forward. Let's just continue that standing process. Arms out to the side, reach all the way up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, arms come down to your side. Another opportunity to kind of shake out those shoulders. Now on the floor, we were lying flat, legs extended, arms extended, fingers folded overhead. We're going to do the same thing now standing, okay? Whenever you're ready, inhale, let's take the arms up into the air. Exhale, interlace fingers and keep pointing. Can you see my fingers? And then index fingers pointing up towards the ceiling, just like that. So a nice 12 o'clock action. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, a little slight tip to your right. To your right, right there. I'm inhaling to reach up in that direction. Now you can stay here on the exhale, but if it feels okay, maybe 1 more little tip. At the same time, you're pressing left foot firmly into the floor. There's that opposite movement. Fingers are reaching up towards ceiling at an angle, while your left foot's rooting down into the earth, getting that lengthening through the side of the body. Let's inhale, come back up to the top. Let's relax the shoulders by releasing and bringing the hands back down by your side. Shake that all out, okay? That's called reed pose. That's just one name for that posture. We're just standing tall and kind of getting that bend like a reed that's blowing in a field. Here we go, other side. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. On the exhale, just go ahead and interlace fingers, index fingers, pointing up. Inhale to lengthen, reach high. Exhale a tip to your left. Right there, just a little bit is fine. You don't have to overdo this. Inhale, keep reaching for that stretch. Exhale, stay here, or maybe a little bit more of a bend. At the same time, pushing or pressing the right foot a little bit more firmly into the ground. What this might do is kind of even out your body, especially at the belt line. So you're really getting the torso lift with that nice stretch. Let's inhale, come back up nice and tall. Let's release the fingers. Exhale, arms come back down to your side. Some deep breaths. Circle out those shoulders. Maybe exhale with those nice sighs. So we can shake out all that tension. Okay? All right, so that's another set of side bending. We've got some more to do. Come back to mountain pose and go ahead and flow with me. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back. Slowly fold, make your way down. Maybe a complete release of head, neck, and shoulders if that feels okay here. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees, extending the spine. This exhale, we fold, go all the way down. Bend the knees more, plant the hands, walk both feet back to the back end of your mat. Create that line in the body, plank pose. Hold for strength. Now we're going to go ahead and set the knees on the floor again. This time take the knees a bit wider on your mat, because we're going to sit back into child's pose. And the toes behind you can touch. You'll sit back, and we are going to keep the arms extended out front. And if you need a little extra padding, you can certainly have your blanket underneath your knees. I like a little support from my head, so I bring in a block so I can rest my forehead on the block here. So again, we're moving in opposite directions. You're reaching with some stretch quality out through the hands and arms, forward, while your hips feel like they're sitting back. Remember that action of sitting back, because that's going to come in handy in the next side bend, which is coming up now. While in child's pose, walk your hands over towards the left corner of your mat or kind of the upper left side of your mat. Okay? And as you're reaching a little bit more dynamically through the right arm, you're going to get that lengthening through the right side body. Now, as you're able, pay attention to the right hip. You want to feel like it's still trying to reach back, maybe towards that back foot or the back corner of the mat. So we can continue that feeling of moving in opposite directions to get that full stretch feeling on the side body. Take a breath or two, and then as you're able, breathe into the right side of your body, maybe expanding through the rib cage. And then we'll soften that by coming back to center. Hold that for a second. And then we'll take the arms over to the other side. So hands reaching to the right corner or the right upper edge of the mat. Lengthening, a little bit extra reach through the left arm. Meanwhile, left hip is trying to move to the back of the mat. Notice how that changes through the left side of your body. Now, this might also be showing up in your shoulders, so be aware of that too. And then those deep breaths into left side, expanding through the rib cage. 2 more breaths. And we'll come back to center. Let's keep the arms extended for a couple more seconds. But since that was some work for the shoulders, let's relax here. Let's relax the arms. You're going to bring the arms down behind you or down by your side, really. And let the shoulders just drop. Let them relax. Go heavy here. I've got my head resting on a block. You can do that, or maybe a pillow or blanket, or even just rest your forehead on the ground. Some more deep breaths here. Again, just allowing the shoulders and arms to take a moment to relax after those dynamic movements. Let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths. After your 3rd breath, you're going to move in slow motion. You might bring your hands out in front again onto the palms so you can lift yourself up and just come to hands and knees. You can even tuck your toes just for a counter stretch for the toes, ankles, and the tops of the feet. And while you're here, cat and cow, maybe just 3 breaths. Another back bend into cow. That's the inhale, and then the exhale into cat. That's the rounded spine, which might feel really good. 3 breaths. And we're going to return to a downward facing dog and continue with some more side stretches. Come to a neutral tabletop posture. We'll step the hands forward, same setup, spread out your fingers, press palms firmly into the ground, strong arms, tuck your toes. You can do 1 more cat-cow. Look up, look down, exhale, hold, lift knees, and then your hips up into the air. Adjust your feet, adjust your hands. Downward facing dog, feeling the lengthening through the sides of the body. Back to our lunges. We're going to do something a little different here, a little bit more dynamic. We're going to inhale, lift the right leg. Bend your right knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting forward. If you're able, bring the foot right up to the wrist of your hand. Okay, if you need to, you can do what we did earlier of picking up the foot and place it there. Now, if you're still here, stay here. You're going to shift your weight back a little bit. We're going to keep that left heel lifted, okay? But maybe rise up to fingertips so you're a little higher, but keep shifting your weight back so you feel a bit more balanced on both feet. So your hands are now light. We're going to hinge our way up. So we're in a high lunge. So that back heel is lifted. This takes a little bit more balance. Let's keep the arms down by our side for a moment. You can place hands on hips, okay? To really create some good stability in the lower half of the body. You can lunge a little deeper, but also squeeze the inner thighs together. Okay, we'll squeeze together to activate the legs. All right, here's the next thing. We're going to inhale, take the arms up into the sky, interlace the fingers, index fingers pointing upward. Let's try on this for size. So we're going to inhale, reach high, and exhale a slight bend to your right. Now this takes some balance because we're in a balancing lunge, but we're creating a bit of a challenge by kind of tipping over to the right. Okay, so a little bit more of that side stretch. Let's come back up nice and tall. Inhale here. Exhale, release the fingers. Pivot left heel to the floor. You'll turn sideways. Bring the arms down to parallel right here. Actually, go ahead and relax the arms completely. Shake out the arms. Make any adjustments with the feet since you're here. Okay. Now, we're going to re-extend the arms in a moment and reverse the warrior. Let's go ahead and do that now. Arms extended, front arm, right hand, flip the palm up, rotate the arm so the right hand is reaching up into the air. Now with the left hand, let's place it on the hip for support. What you're going to do is hand is on hip and push it forward. Don't do this, but I'm just showing you where that movement is going. It's going this way, okay, as you're pushing in. But you're also pushing down at the same time. Push in and down. That should support the pelvis as you reach high into the sky with the right arm and maybe reach behind you. Okay, so a lengthening that's happening through the right side of the body. Put a little bit more bend in that right knee, and then with his right hand, bring the hand down behind you, maybe to the back of the head. Point up with the elbow towards the ceiling. A little bit more of a stretch that's happening down through the tricep, latissimus muscle, which is part of your back system, and side body. Let's re-extend the right arm up, tip your way up, return to a warrior 2 right here. And then a big windmill, so the left hand up and over, face forward, fold and bend, hands down to the ground. Slide the right foot back, plank pose, hold, Then bend knees, hips into the sky, downward facing dog. So those are our 2 new side bends. Let's do the other side. Inhale, extend left leg up. Exhale, bend the left knee, a little momentum just to shift forward. So maybe you can bring the left foot onto the floor, landing somewhat behind the wrist. Once you're there, even with the other way to get there, step the hands back a little bit, shifting the body weight back. Remember that right heel is lifted, hands are light, long torso. Hinge your way up, but keep the arms down. Just relax here. Place hands on hips, actually. Lunge low, squeeze inner thighs towards center to help stabilize for balance. Because this is a balancing lunge. Let's inhale, take the arms up. Interlace the fingers here. Point and reach up as you inhale. And as before, we're going to exhale and kind of bend and tip to the left side. Not too far, so we can maintain the balance. Remember, you're still hugging inner thighs towards center. That's really what's helping you to stay balanced here. We're going to come back up nice and tall. And then open into Warrior Two. So your torso opens to the right side of the room, arms come down to parallel. Take a moment to relax the arms, adjust the feet. We're getting ready for our reversed warrior, so let's take the arms back out to parallel. Flip the left palm up and reach up into the air with left hand, while right hand comes down, place it on the hip. Those 2 actions of pushing forward and down, supporting the pelvis, so we can now reach a little higher through left arm and maybe reach somewhat behind you. You can put a little bend in the elbow, that's fine as you're reaching. Opposite direction, so you're reaching to the back end of your mat with your left hand, where your left knee is kind of lunging forward towards the front of your mat. Now the left hand comes down to your back, to the back of your head if you're able. Point up towards the ceiling with the elbow. Breathe deeply, see if you feel something, a little sensation of a stretch and lengthening down through the back of the arm, past the shoulder, down past the side of the body. Let's re-extend the left arm up, tipping upwards so we can take both arms out to the side for a Warrior Two. And then our windmill, so the right hand comes up and over, facing forward. Fold and bend, hands to the mat. Plant the hands firmly so you can slide that left foot back. Plank pose, see if you can hold this a tiny bit longer. Let's bring the knees down. We're going to go back to child's pose, but just briefly. Take the knees wide if you need to. Sit back as the arms reach forward. A little resting moment, but also a little stretch moment as well. Take 3 breaths here. So it's a nice forward fold in addition to kind of a lengthening sensation. And I think we're ready for that bonus pose. All right, maybe step the hands towards your knees so you can just kind of press yourself up so you are in hero pose briefly. And then go ahead and sit off to the side, okay, and just sit normally here. So I can quickly demonstrate what you can do with your cushion, this big pillow, for our bonus pose. We've been focusing on side bends, but we're going to do one more back bend. So if you've got a big cushion, let me just show you this. We've done this before, but it's been a while. Okay, I need my blanket here too. Right there, I should do it. Okay, it's fish pose, but it's just kind of a draped body over a big firm cushion. Okay, whatever you've got. Let me just show you. So I'm sitting right up against my cushion here, and I'm just going to lie back and over it. So my head's going to hit the other side, but I've got that blanket back there so for nice support. And then I can just relax. That's it. That's our bonus pose. So if you've got a big cushion, okay, or a pillow that you can use to kind of drape yourself over, go ahead and do that. And what you also could do, it might work, maybe a blanket, maybe a couple of blankets, maybe rolled up. Again, kind of lying across your yoga mat, and then lie back over it. So you create this back bend. So a variation of fish pose, but similar to our supported bridge, you can kind of call this supported fish. And just some deep breaths. Now for some, this could be a nice restorative posture. meaning we could finish the practice just like this. We're going to do a couple more things, but just know that if when we get to our final resting position, you could use this as that restorative posture. Let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths. If you are using a big cushion like I am, like a bolster or a big pillow, rather than trying to sit straight up, what you might want to do to get out of the pose is maybe roll to your side, so you can then use your hands to help press yourself up. Okay, now we are going to go back to our bridge pose briefly, but we're going to elevate the legs. So I'm going to use the cushion because I know some of my students have used this, and I'm just going to kind of use their work as inspiration for this next movement. Okay, you can, but if you have blocks, just use your blocks. I'm just going to use the cushion. You can use something soft in this case. Let me show you. Or actually, you can go ahead and do this with me. Go ahead and lie down. Still have my blanket there for a nice cushioning for my head. That's nice. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Press feet into the ground, lift your hips. Either slide your blocks underneath you or bring in that cushion. So you have something soft to sit on. Right here. Now you can just kind of sink into that or just sit on the blocks, because here we are going to extend the legs. So something soft underneath you might feel quite nice. And again, this was inspired by one of my yoga students. It's like, that's a good idea. Feels good. So the legs might go straight up. So feel that activation of the legs. Feel free to maybe circle the ankles, flex the feet, point your toes. But then you can kind of add some movement here if you like. A little bicycle pedaling. Any other movement in the legs as you like. You can even just hug the knees in, take them forward, out to the side, a little inner thigh stretch, extend the legs, whatever you want to do. So our inverted pose. Just extending the legs up into the air, and if you like, adding that movement. Let's take 3 more breaths. When you feel complete, let's return to the earth. So bend your knees, plant the feet into the ground. If you're sitting on something, you might want to lift the hips, slide your prop out of the way, come back down to the ground. Draw the knees into chest. Let's go for a twist here. Let's take the knees over to the left side as you extend your right arm to the right side. Soften here. What you might want to do is, once you're in the pose, take a nice full breath in. Exhale with a sigh. Let the body kind of relax into the rotation. And then breathe normally. Two more breaths. When you feel complete on that first side, come back to center. Hug the knees in, gently, a little rounded spine there. And we'll take our twist to the other side. Same thing, once you're in the pose, go ahead and breathe in fully. Exhale completely with a sigh. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And then slowly return to center. Let's just add one more quick movement here, just a hip opener. Hold onto the knees or shins. Take the legs wide. You might flex the feet a little bit. This is just a variation of happy baby pose. You can without needing to take the feet up towards ceiling, but you certainly can do that. I'm just taking the legs wide, more like I call this frog's legs. And just a nice stretch for the inner legs, inner thighs. 2 more breaths. We're not going to be here too long. And then you might bring the knees together, take the feet back down to the floor, and then extend the legs out front. Let's just do one more stretch, legs out front, arms behind you. Take an active breath in to reach and stretch in these opposite directions one last time. When you exhale, bring your arms down by your side and let the whole body relax completely into Shavasana. If you like to use props for this pose, feel free to bring in those props. Remember, you can return to that fish pose. If you don't want to do that back bend, maybe you want to elevate your legs. Maybe bring in that big pillow or cushion and elevate the legs. I'm going to do something a little different myself. Rather than lie in Shavasana for my meditation, I'm going to come to seated. Okay, and just kind of sit quietly for the last couple of minutes. I think I'll sit on my blanket here. So wherever feels most comfortable. So it might be Shavasana, using props. You can lie on your side, elevate the legs if you want, or even come to seated. Wherever you are, just find stillness. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly, yet deeply. Sometimes the mind wants to wander away when you're seated or lying down in stillness. So if you notice that you might be thinking about something, just acknowledge the thought. You even tell that thought or tell yourself that you'll return to that thought later. Take a breath. And that breath can help you to return to the present moment. Maybe let that be your process every time you experience the mind just starting to wander away. And as always, you can stay right here as long as you like. Even as I end the practice, you just stay in this restorative position for as long as you need. When you decide it's time to complete the full practice, rather than moving right away, start with a few deep breaths, maybe 5 slow, intentional breaths, just to bring life and energy and movement back into the body. Begin to feel that movement return
through your fingers and toes, your hands and feet, moving right up through your limbs to your center body. And then slowly and carefully roll onto either side of your body, briefly there in a nurturing pose. And then from there, slowly rising to a seated position. You can join me here. Maybe sitting up on a cushion or block or pillow. Find that re-extension in your spine. Arms and shoulders just relaxed. Hands resting in your lap. Or you can bring hands to heart center. Take another full breath in and out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste.